Welcome in everyone to episode 116 of Instigate Success Building an ABA Franchise. Your host, as always, Jake Schoen, aka Jakey Muffins, here for the official podcast of the Hoosier State Instigators. Thank you everyone to joining us tonight and every Friday night here 9 p.m. Eastern, streaming live. We're on YouTube. And you can also watch the replays of these over on YouTube as well, and listen to it as a podcast as well. Um, Camera again is going to be a little bit weird. Still have not gotten the um, keyboard and mouse fixed. So still just using the touchscreen with a pen stylus thing. So probably see me a little bit closer and hitting some stuff on the screen. So hopefully it doesn't block the view here. But we've got some catching up to do. So we're in 2026, and we're going to be playing our first game here in the new year. So we're going to take a look at that, share a little bit of information as far as the upcoming schedule, because what we had originally posted is a little bit changed. Maybe, yeah, I guess a little bit changed. So working on that. We probably just seen today. We did post the games for this weekend, so we do have two games this weekend, which we'll jump into here in a little bit. But that'll get us kind of kickstarted here in 2026. I know we've had a few weeks off here, but we'll get back on court here in less than 24 hours. So got that. But let's start things off by taking a look around the league as far as what happened over the past weekend. Right. So taking a look over at the games from last week. So this is going to be the last Saturday, January 10th. Scrolling through here, take a look and see guys within our division. We've got the Nashville Aces here, number 2 team in the nation with a 169-155 victory there. And this is a big game there. The Lions dropped to 6-6 against the Fury. 140-91 victory for the Chicago Fury there. Um, Looks like they didn't record full stats on that, so a little bit difficult to go into it too much there. For the Lions, for the Fury, looks like Brandon Daughtry with 41. Definitely leading the way there. It looks like by far as the scoring side goes. Rebounding Capri Austin as we would expect. Um, but yeah, it looks like mainly number 10 Brandon there with the 41 points there leading the way. Also have 11 assists here. It's a double-double there. 11 assists, 11 points for Marzell Tiffith. And then you also got 8 rebounds for him. A few more guys there with a good number of rebounds. For the Lions, it doesn't have the point score. It's a little bit harder to tell on that end there. But as far as the other stats that they do have reported, Mark Smith leading the way with 11 rebounds, 5 assists, tied with Heidelberg for second. And then we've got Elijah, just Elijah there as the leader in assists there with 6. Yeah, but that's a pretty big game there. 91-140. So Fury's still showing they've got what it takes to be towards the top. Lions had been ranked in the top 25. It'll be interesting to see if they're still ranked after that. You'd have to imagine a nearly 50-point loss is probably going to hurt that a little bit. Then we've got Chicago Knights taking down the Frost of Wisconsin, 155-120. Here was a good game, a close game. If you had a chance to catch it, a 132-129 victory for the Kings over the Legends. Kings have been very, very good this year. So maybe a little bit surprising to see that close of a game. The only two games they've lost, the Kings that is, was against the Aces, the number two team in the nation. The Legends were 500 entering that game, so that's a. I think if it was Vegas and they had the line, the Kings probably would have been a little bit heavier favorites in 3 points there. But taking a look as far as um, the stats that they have reported here, does look like the Kings were a little bit short-handed, um, with 7 guys as far as what it shows there, playing for the game. Courtney Ware leading the way though with 46, and then obviously it's going to be higher scoring for just about all these guys that did get to start. Um, Hunter there with 29 and Lackey with 22. All three of those above 20 points each. And for the Legends, the guy who always is up there as far as the points per game, Mike Saunders Jr. with 50 buckets there, and very efficient from the floor as well. All of the free throws were made 7 to 7, 14 to 17 for 2 pointers, and then 5 to 12 there for 3 pointers. Also, 10 rebounds there, 5 steals, so leading in both of those categories as well. So a double double there for Saunders. Um, and it looks like Quinn Williams with 21 points, also a nice effort there. Jeffrey Parker with a double double with 14 and 10 boards. So pretty good stats there for the Legends, but that does drop them down below 500 again. For us, that's important. Obviously, with the Instigators, we have the head-to-head victory, and then obviously within the division, um, that puts us, assuming we have the same record, it should put us above them. We've got the 402 Elite taking down the Missouri Capitals with a score of 113 to 81. So low scoring effort there for the Capitals. Across the league, we got the Silicon Valley Panthers with a 126-102 victory over the Las Vegas Royals. So SVP staying up there towards the top as far as the rankings go. And going down a little bit further here, we see the Chattanooga Strike and the Clarksville Phoenix in a close matchup there, 104-108. And we got the Louisville Pros with a big victory there. Well, let's click on that one. Uh, the Pros pick up their third win, 161 to 97. That's crazy there. If you look at how they started off that game, 47 to 21 in the first quarter, and 40 points to 14 in the second. So definitely a solid effort there throughout the game from the Pros. The Spirit came back a little bit there towards the end, but definitely, I'm sure that's a little bit of the gap between the two scores might have had something to do with that. But 161-97, Spirit led by Taryn Robinson with 29 points there, and Richard Brown with 21. Louisville Pros, if I had to take a guess, they actually did not. I was gonna take a guess here and say it was Dominique Williams and Shamar Overstreet that led the way. It's actually Savion Nicholas with 37 points there, with the most points scored in the game. Second most, another guy that I would not have guessed it, out of because normally it's those two guys, Trace Ashby with 27. So solid effort all the way around from the pros in this. Then we go to the guys that we normally see on there. Dominique Williams, 26 points with 13 rebounds, 13 assists, and 7 steals. So triple double for Dominique. And I'm sure that keeps him right up there in the top of some of the stat leading categories in this season for the ABA. Um, Anthony Southers is normally a guy I believe that's up there as well. 19 points, 8 rebounds. Shamar Overstreet with 8 points, but he also had 13 rebounds, 13 assists, and 6 steals. So a double double without the points. So that's pretty cool to see. But keep an eye out when we get to that stats here in just a few minutes. I'm fairly certain we're going to have a few of these different guys from the pros involved on that sheet. Then on Sunday, we have the Indiana Lions taking on the other Chicago team, the Windy City Inferno. So closer game there. 106 to 100 victory for the Inferno. Looks like they didn't get stats reported for the Lions there. Inferno led by Tate with 18, and then Gaston with 16. I'm sorry, Battle with 17 there. Gaston with 16. 17 rebounds there though for Reggie Gallion. So solid all the way around for the Inferno. 402 Elite took down North Tulsa Natives 109-106. And we've got the Buffalo Extreme, one of the top teams in the nation, with a 129-98 victory over the Syracuse Monarchs. And then we have Nashville with another game here, 131-112 victory for them. Interesting to note, it says here on the ABA schedule that there is a game going on right now, the Hudson Valley Rivermen versus the Binghamton Bulldogs. So that's interesting. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate or not, but a Friday night game, that's pretty cool to see. Taking a look, though, at the schedule for this weekend coming up, we have within our division and region, St. Louis Spirit taking on the Missouri Capitals. So that'll be two similarly record teams. So that'll be interesting to see how those two come out, because that might have a big indication as far as who finishes ahead of each other at the end of the season. Looks like we got a forfeit there with the 402 against the Natives. At least that's what's showing. As far as other games, we've got Austin Bats and the Purple Kings. That's a battle within one of the top teams, the other tied top team, at least the last time, I believe. And then we've got the Chicago Fury against the Southwest Warriors. The Indiana Lions taking on the Ohio Kings. So that could be another game that's important as far as the standings go. With the Lions losing that past game, I believe that's going to put them in a spot. Actually, we got to click on the other thing. That puts them in a spot where they're at that 6-6 mark. So that puts them at 500. Obviously with the record, that opens the door not only for the Lion or the Lions, but with the Legends as well as us, to jump into that third spot, depending on how things wrap up this weekend. We've also got like San Diego taking on the Panthers, so another top matchup. The Clarksville Phoenix taking on the Chicago Knights. Chattanooga Strike against Georgia Prime. We got our game there, the Indiana Shuckers and the Instigators. I think that's switched back and forth as far as the home and away team. We've got the Knoxville Commerce taking on the Mississippi Lucky Ducks. Then on Sunday, we've got, don't see teams within our region or division here. But I do see the Chicago Fury there against the Georgia Grizzlies. So there's one. And then it looks like only other one on there is our game, the Sharkers and Instigators game. So got both of those coming up this weekend. And I think we're gonna jump over here to the power rankings to see the power rankings first, and then we'll jump back into stats and standings. Then we'll take a look at the game this weekend, and then kind of like preview for the upcoming games as well. So let's get that screen up here. All right. And as always, shout out to W. Go to w.gg and use code Apex Athletics for 10% off your order. Get your W products, Jitterless Energy products. You can go over there and get yourself a tub, get a sample pack, whatever you want, and use that promo code again. That's Apex Athletics for 10% off. But definitely helps with long nights, especially when you do work all day. You got to stream. Sometimes you work till 3 in the morning and whatever. But we've got the power rankings here for this last week, for the current week, and we've got the Buffalo Extreme still up there, tied #1 with the Austin Bats, undefeated. Don't think either one of those teams are going to fall, unless obviously there's a loss in that column there. But I think both of those teams are kind of locked into that #1 spot. Again, I still think it's odd as far as how some of these rankings go, because the Buffalo Extreme were the outright #1 team. Then the Bats got thrown on as a tied #1 team. But then you've also got some of these other teams that are also undefeated that I feel like you could also argue into getting a tie if that's the way that it proceeds. But anyways, that puts those two teams up there. The Panthers have been up in the mix over the past 3-4 years. All the years we've been in the league, at least. They are still undefeated. They're #3. The team that's in between the tied #1 teams and the #3 team, which again, that's also interesting because every time there's a tie, it doesn't skip the next number. Typically, it's like if there's a tie with one, then it would be one, one, then three. But it doesn't. It goes one, one, two. So the #2 team is the Nashville Aces. 2 more victories this past weekend puts them up to 14-0. Really, I think it kind of stands with all these undefeated teams at this point in the season. You're going to be staying in the rankings that you are in, I would guess, unless there is a loss in the record column to either your team or one of the teams above you. That's about the only way I see this changing. Wyoming Valley Clutch also undefeated, 11-0. New England Lightning, #5, 10-0. Steel City Yellow Jackets, I'm fairly certain that's a 0 that got cut off there, because they are the #6 team, so 10-0. Mississippi Silverbacks, 9-0. We've seen the Silverbacks a few years back. They were in the playoffs there, deep in the playoffs, I should say. And then the best team with a loss, it looks like, is the Windy City Inferno at #8. Atlanta Defenders, 11-1 at 9. The 2 San Diego teams back to back. The Suns at 10-1, Mob at 9-1, 10 and 11 respectively. And then we see the Alamo City All Stars 10-2 at 12. Chattanooga Strike 9-2 at #13. The Chicago Fury, the defending champions, 2 years of back-to-back undefeated seasons, now sit at 11-3. the other Chicago team, the Chicago Knights, one of the other Chicago teams, I should say, the Chicago Knights at 10-3, the number 15 team. Long Island Strong Arm at 8-2, number 16. Number 17, the 402 Elite. Number 18, the Ohio Kings at 8-2. And I will mention this yet again. I find it very interesting that the Ohio Kings are number 18 at 8-2, and they have a head-to-head victory over the Chicago Fury, if I'm not mistaken, at 11-3. Um, Also got the Binghamton Bulldogs there, 19 at 8-3, as well as the Columbus Skyhawks, 20. Got Levy Legends at number 21, 10-4. Las Vegas Royals, who just had a tough loss there, 10-5. Then you got some teams closer to that 500 mark here to wrap things up. The Royals and Colts tied for number 23 at 7-3. And at 6-3 each is the Atlanta Aliens and Richmond Ramchargers, 24-25 to wrap things up for your top 25 power rankings in the ABA. Let's jump over to the stats page and standings. We're going to do standings first and then stats. So in the standings, and I've got to get clarification again because I forgot to remember about that, why it shows we are in the blue division. As far as I am aware, we are still in the red division, but if I hear otherwise, we'll definitely be sure to share that. But if we're in the blue division, it's going to be the Yellow Jackets out in front, undefeated, and then if it's in the red division, it's going to be the Aces out in front, undefeated. The Ohio Kings there at 8-2 would be in the red. And then we've got the Phoenix at 500, the Pros and the Commerce, both under 500 there. What's still showing in the red division. In what is it seems like the new blue division that they're showing would have the Lions at 6-6, so 500, the Legends at 5-6, us at 3-3, Akron Aviators at 3-4, and the Shuckers at 2-5. So that's interesting to note. We've got the two games here against the Shuckers. So, in theory, that could jump us up to a 5-3 record. That would catapult us all the way up to either number 2 in the blue division or number 3 in the red division. So that's a big thing to keep an eye on as far as these games coming up this weekend. Real big implications for the standings and potentially playoffs. In the black division, it looks like that's still pretty correct there, as far as I'm aware. Windy City Inferno lead the way at 11-1. Just behind them is the Chicago Fury at 11-3, as well as the Chicago Knights at 10-3. Going out to the white division, we've got the 402 Elite leading the way at 7-3. North Tulsa Natives at 6-6, and the other teams there, the Missouri Capitals, Western Oklahoma Bulls, and the St. Louis Spirit, leading the way there, or I'm sorry, wrapping up the division in the white division in the Central region. But that's what we've got in the central region. So teams kind of keep an eye on as far as things wrap up here. The Yellow Jackets, Aces, Kings, as well as the Inferno, Fury, and Knights. And then the 402 Elite are the teams that I think are going to be the favorites going into the region playoffs. Going out to the East, we've got the blue division led by the undefeated New England Lightning. They are the only team there over 500, so they're pretty much set, I would say. In the white division, we've got a few teams undefeated there. The number 1 overall, Buffalo Extreme, as well as the Top 10, Wyoming Valley Clutch, number 11 and 0. Then we got the Binghamton Bulldogs, perennial contenders there at 8 and 3. Philly Thunder at 7 and 4. You got yourself a stacked division here with a lot of teams over 500. The last over 500 team, the Saratoga Racers. In the black division out in the east, we got the Long Island Strong Arm leading the way at 9 and 2. Hartford Colts at 7 and 2, so a couple games behind them, and that's all the teams there with a 500 plus. In the red division, we've got the Edgewood 96ers leading the way at 9 and 1. Behind them, Richmond Ram Chargers at 7 and 3, Delaware Dogs at 6 and 4, and the DC Crank at 6 and 4. Going down south, we got the Silverbacks of Mississippi at an undefeated record, 10 and 0. They are also one of the top 10 teams in the nation. Gulf Coast Gladiators there at 7 and 4. Tri City Takeover 5 and 3. 5 and 5 is the Pythons. Rest of the and the Ballers also a 3 and 3 with a 500 records. Behind them are teams under that 500 mark. In the blue division, we've got the Austin Bats at 12 and 0, followed by the Alamo City All Stars 10 and 2, and the Marshalls, I guess, are behind them at 6 and 6, despite the Purple Kings being 5 and 2 with a record over 500. Shall see. Then in the red division, we've got the Atlanta Defenders at 11 and 1, leading the way there, followed by the Chattanooga Strike at 9 and 2, Columbus Skyhawks 7 and 3, Atlanta Aliens 6 and 3, and the Stonecrest Strong Steppers 5 and 5 with a 500. Prime and Warriors still looking for some more wins on their records. In the white division down south, we got the Florida Tropics there leading the way with one loss, 7 and 1, and Dundee County Royals, a couple of losses or a few losses on the season at this point, 7 and 3. Out in the west, we have in Alpha Conference Division A, the Las Vegas Royals at 9 and 5. Then we've got the New Mexico Bull Snakes at 5 and 2. Rest of the teams there looking to get at that 500 plus mark. In the Alpha Conference Division B, San Diego leads away over San Diego. The Mob 10 and 1, same as the Suns at 10 and 1. Mob ahead of the Suns though. Then we've got the Guy Lively Legends 10 and 4. And in the Beta Conference Division A, San Jose over San Jose, 5 and 5 record there for the Wolfpack. Knights still looking for their first win. In the Beta Conference Division B, we have the Silicon Valley Panthers with a 12 and 0 record, and they're going to be leading the way there as far as we can see for that. And that covers the standings. And then I did mention as far as our games here, we do play. This is We do have that double header, so it could be a big implication as far as the playoff standings and kind of how things shake up within our region. And taking a look at the leaders, we've got Tyrone Jordan with 39.7 points per game. I feel like I said this last time. Yeah, this has got to be, there's got to be some kind of weird, yeah, there's got to be some weird kind of minimums on here because that puts him at 39.7. Not anyone else there. It looks like between first and second, second would all the way drop for about 10 points there, 29.4. Tied for, or tied with Patrick Rittman and Brandon Towns. Interesting. But yeah, there's got to be some kind of restriction or something because I feel like there were guys up there that were even higher. And well, this is on the Austin Bats. So 39.7, definitely a lot of games played for them there. Rebounds per game. Looks like Marcus Fegan with 11.9. I also find that hard as well to believe there's only one person in the league averaging 10 plus rebounds, but guess we shall see on that. Assists per game. We've only got one guy over that 10 mark. That's Jamichael Brown with 11.3. And for steals per game, it looks like we got Jay Scarborough at 4.8. A big lead there over um, Jordan Tyrone. I'm sorry, Tyrone Jordan with 2.3. But yeah, they definitely changed something as far as who gets listed on there because I'm fairly certain that Dominique Williams had been number one on a few of these not too long ago. All right, and then as far as what we have coming up here with the Instigators this weekend, here is the graphic for it if you haven't already seen it. It's a double header weekend. Finally, we are doing this again. Saturday, tomorrow, we're going to be on the road at Best Choice, or I'm sorry, not Best Choice, at Crossroads Community Church in Bedford, Indiana. So we hope to see you there. It's not too far of a drive for most of our fans there. But it's a cool opportunity this weekend to play the Shuckers at the home and away experiences. Not only for the fans, but I think also for the players. Then obviously the teams. There's a little bit of bragging rights I think on the table here with the state of Indiana as far as who's going to represent them in basketball. So got that, and then on Sunday, come back again and see the singer. Sorry, to see the home game for the Instigators. Get your Sunday tickets. That's what that says. Sunday tickets there. Scan that QR code, and as always, you can also get tickets at the door. And you can also visit our website there for the schedule and tickets. But so Sunday, that one is the one at Best Choice Fieldhouse at 4:30 p.m. Sunday night. So it's early enough you can still go out and have fun at the game and then relax and get ready for work if you have it. If not, it is Martin Luther King Day coming up. So maybe you enjoy the holiday, have the day off there. But tomorrow 6 p.m. we're playing at in Bedford against the Shuckers. That's a road game. And then on Sunday, right back at it, 4:30 p.m. We are playing at home. So really cool, fun opportunity this weekend to get bragging rights of Hoosier State. So that is always a cool thing to do if we're able to do so. And hopefully we have the good streak continue against the Shuckers that we've had over the past few times we have matched up against them. I know obviously the first matchup against them maybe wasn't the best for the Instigators, but since then we've tried to go and be back and forth within these. But that's what we've got this weekend. As far as the schedule goes for the rest of the season, pulling up what I've got. Um, cancel that. Let's share the website. So we will have new graphics up. Probably keep an eye out, I'd say, for next week, early next week, we'll have graphics put together for these games, that have been changed as far as scheduling goes. So Sunday, that's on Sunday. We've got the game against the Shuckers at home. You can get tickets right there. Windy City Inferno there. Home tickets there on January 24th. And St. Louis Spirit there, February 1st. I think we're gonna have an announcement on that game. That might be a theme night game. And then we've got the Hessa Bucket playing us on the February 15th, not the South Bend Bison. So there's one of your changes. It looks like we also have a game we're trying to add here between us and the Ohio Kings. And then obviously, we got our last game of the season scheduled at home against the St. Louis Capitals. But yeah, keep an eye out over the next week. We're gonna plan on, getting some graphics and posts out as far as updates with the scheduling here for the instigators. I think we've covered everything here as far as what I do have on hand for tonight's episode. So I think that is going to be it for episode 116 of Instigate Success Building an ABA Franchise. We hope to see you not only at the game on Sunday, but at the game on Saturday, so tomorrow. We hope to see you both times. Not too much of a distance between the two, and always helps to have that crowd behind you when you have, I think basketball, especially, is a game of swings, and you can get a huge run depending on obviously, I think crowd noise as well and kind of the environment within the system. So, do believe that can pack the stands not only for our home game on Sunday, but hopefully for the road game as well in Bedford. So, we've got that coming up this weekend. So, two opportunities for us to jump over that 500 threshold. Uh, Obviously, then there's the 500 opportunity, and then the lesser than 500, which is obviously not the route we want to see. Um, but that really is it for right now. As we get more information as far as scheduling and with recalls and whatnot, as always, we reach out and we'll. But with the rescheduling and whatnot, we'll have post up here this week with the updated schedule. Um, so just keep an eye out for that. And then obviously with the tickets, you can get tickets over on our website. And then whenever we have graphics out for the individual games, you can always scan the QR codes there and then at the door as well. But That's gonna be the one bigger change. Also, a big the announcement official as far as the rescheduling of the motorsports night. So that'll also be something to keep an eye out for. But you know, gotta wrap things up as far as we get down the road here for the second half of the season. If we're able to kind of take care of business here, I feel like there's a stretch of games that we can win, put ourselves above that 500 mark, and then if we're able to do so and get enough wins to jump up to that number 2 or 3 spot. I think we should feel pretty good about getting ourselves into the playoffs. If we're below that, or at that 500 threshold, or a little bit below that, I definitely think that is going to be a little bit of a challenge again. If we have to go through the play-ins as we have the past 2 years. So we'll keep you updated here on Instigate success. But until always, as next time, again, we're always here Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, streaming here live, and you can rewatch on YouTube. But until next time, hope to see you this weekend at the games, and hopefully we can pack up the stands. But anyways, until next time, as always, be great and instigate.